Look at the timing. Look at the sheer volume of noise designed to drown out the silence of the market. We are sitting here on August 9th, 2026, and the source packet is screaming. It is vibrating with urgency. But you know what I hear? I hear a man trying to convince himself that chaos is his brand, that every scratch on the paint is a conspiracy, and that the only thing moving with any real velocity is his own outrage. Let's start with the centerpiece of this theatrical display, the National Park Service, a career employee, a witness he calls highly credible. He tells us that David Hearn from Act Blue was seen in broad daylight, ripping and tugging at the reflecting pools, somewhat delicate coating. He uses the word violently. It's a visceral image. It's designed to make your blood boil. And then, the acid on the newly installed grass. The letters, who knows how much scrawled in it. A phrase he says was probably gotten from James Comey. Do you see the geometry of this? He is framing a crime scene that hasn't even been cleaned up yet, attributing motive to an acronym, and then immediately trying to pivot away from the blame. He says they are working on the pool. He admits there was contractor error for rushing the job for July 4th. But that was a small area, he insists, relatively inconsequential. Yet, he spent an entire post detailing the vandalism. Why? Because the narrative of victimhood is more important than the reality of maintenance. He tells us security cameras are being installed. He thanks us for our attention. It's a performance. He wants you to see the damage, so you don't notice that he's replacing his legal team with someone who previously represented him in cases against a corrupt and illegal administration. Will Scharf, that's the new White House counsel, effective September 1st. Scharf, who clerked for 2 federal appeals court judges in his tow, strong and smart. The adjectives pile up like bricks. He's building a wall of praise to keep you from asking why David Warrington left. And then the pivot, the cultural warfare pivot. Black and brown voters don't want communism or socialism. He declares they are flocking to the Republican Party because they remember that Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. It's a historical erasure so bold it requires no evidence. Just a statement of fact presented as a revelation. He is trying to claim the mantle of the past to justify the present. And then, almost casually, he drops Gary Player at Bedminster. Then a line, 51 years of bad behavior. Which behavior? We don't know. It's a headline without a body. A mystery box for your imagination to fill with whatever grievance you already hold. He shows us the 10th hole at his own club in Palm Beach. He shows us Gary Player at Turnberry. He is curating a gallery of privilege while telling you he's fighting for you. And then the financial panic, the graph. Iran has NO money. He posts this line graph showing the exchange rate of 1 million Iranian rial. It dropped from roughly $1.11 to 0.53 cents. He calls the currency trash. He uses a trash can icon. It's a crude visual shorthand for collapse. But look at what he's doing here. He is pointing to a failing economy in another hemisphere and using it as a mirror for his own domestic political strategy. If their money is trash, ours must be gold. It's a binary switch. He wants you to feel the weight of that collapse, so you'll cling to his stability. And what does he share to support this worldview? A link from the Financial Times. The headline is just a hash 247,700 number, but he amplifies it. He wants you to read Hillary Clinton saying there is no alternative to his Gaza plan. He takes an implacable opponent and quotes her acceptance as a victory lap. It's not about the policy, it's about the surrender of the enemy. That is the core of the monologue. Vandalism in D.C., replacement of staff, historical revisionism, foreign economic collapse, and diplomatic capitulation. all rolled into one feed. Now, look at the tape. Look at what actually moved while he was typing these paragraphs. Ethereum edged up 0.13%, 26th percentile. Bitcoin edged up 0.07%, 20th percentile. Edged up, that is it. The market did not surge. It did not crash. It barely twitched. The volatility he is screaming about in the reflecting pool, non-existent in the tape. The bad behavior of 51 years, irrelevant to the blockchain. He is shouting at a hurricane, but the wind isn't even blowing. He talks about a horse racing program with an allowance purse of a number. He points out Blue Root Boo, owned by Legion Racing. He is tracking the minutiae of wealth while claiming to represent the people. He cites the Iranian real's value of 1.11 and 0.53 as proof of global decay. These are his numbers, his claims. But the tape is quiet. The tape doesn't care about your grudges against ActBlue. The tape doesn't care about Gary Player's tea time. The tape just prints. And right now, it's printing a flat line in the face of his noise. He shows us Alfred E. Newman next to a photo of himself with missing teeth. A me smile. He is mocking the absurdity of it all. Or perhaps pretending that he is the joke teller while everyone else is the butt of the joke. But the joke is on the viewer who thinks their anger is moving markets. The crypto assets moved fractions of a percent. The pool is being repaired. The council is changing. The voters are flocking, according to him. None of it matters until he stops typing and starts listening to the silence that follows. You have to look at the contrast. On one side, the frantic energy of vandalism, legal replacements, and foreign currency collapse. On the other, the dull, unimpressed creep of Bitcoin up 0.07%. He is trying to manufacture a crisis because the real world has moved on. The reflecting pool is just water and stone. The horse race is just a bet. The only thing that remains is the tape, and it is indifferent to his fury. Don't let him trick you into thinking the noise is the signal. The signal is quiet, and he is terrified of the quiet. That's the show. We're on Spotify and YouTube. If this earned it, like, subscribe, tell a friend. And housekeeping, the machine that writes this gets tuned constantly for cleaner news. The numbers are real, the jokes are not.